Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire. This is my club, my only desire.
Hello and welcome back to the show. No, it's not Dermo. He is on holiday, so I'm your guest host this week. So I just wanted to say a big get well soon to Mrs. Tron. I hope you're going to fight a good fight, get happy and healthy, and a full and speedy recovery. And the second thing that I just want to say, Christian Eriksen, speedy recovery, sir. Get back to full health. So here I am. I'm Nick. I'm your guest host for today. And alongside me is the myth, the man, and the legend, Billy. Billy, welcome to the show.
Hi, good to see you. Thank you very much for stepping in. I just want to say straight off the bat as well, congratulations. Don't think we've spoken since the fateful day.
No.
How's life being a Premier League champion?
It was because it's just so surreal. It's so surreal. You guys know what it was like last year when you won the Europa League. You land there and you're just kind of like, you're looking around for a while going, did that just happen?
Yeah.
You know, did that just, and it's that sort of feeling really. It's kind of like a warm blanket, you know, you got it over the line.
Well. Obviously, you've had it much more to an extent than I have because we won the Europa League, you won the Premier League. But it's just weird how quickly, like as a fan, football moves on, doesn't it? Like it's an amazing feeling, and then suddenly it's like, right, next season, let's do it.
Absolutely. I know. Well, this is what I was thinking about from a player perspective.
I want to get the next one.
Yeah, I want this and I want that, and I want. When do they ever get a chance to enjoy it? You know, and it's just like, particularly this year, because it's a World Cup year, so everybody wants that celebration, don't you? Can't celebrate because you've got a final to go in the Champions League. Still can't celebrate too much after that because you've got to hook up and do the World Cup. And it's just like, oh man, that's really, really grim, you know.
And then it's like, right, who are we signing in summer?
Shiny new toy syndrome. Yeah. I'm always of the opinion. I don't know about you, Billy. I'm kind of more interested in how to get the most out of your existing players, because I think player improvement within your squad is has a far greater impact than potentially a new shiny toy. What do you think?
I mean, I would be saying that if I was an Arsenal fan as well, because you actually have a very good squad. But as Spurs fans, we want some new toys. But I don't know. There's not really a lot that you guys can do, is there? You've already got like tweaking. That's about it, really, isn't it? There's no obvious gaps in the squad. I mean,
left wing.
Yeah.
I'd say our left wing needs a bit of work.
You're in the point now where you the only thing that will really improve you is a world-class signing, isn't it? So you're shopping in a very small box.
Do you know? So I'm a part of Football Takeover, and we were doing a show last night. And one of the things that's really important to us is that under 18, under 21 player acquisition, and what you're developing and bringing through. Because the problem with your squad is, at this stage, when you're trying to like second, it gets really hard for a manager to turn around and say, I'm going to put that young kid in. And would Mikel Arteta now bring in Emile Smith-Rowe and Bukayo Saka the way he did when we was 8th and 8th? Yeah. I don't think he would. So it gets really hard to bring that sort of player through. And so that acquisition of who takes over this current team is almost more important than the constant evolution of the first team squad as we know it. So I was just going to say, big up to Giant. He was here nice and early. Hello, sir. Thank you for coming aboard. And it was just me saying hello and then him acknowledging me. And then here we go. So has Spurs' board really changed? Will Savinho be a big spend this window, or will the big spend big on a much needed striker? So Billy, I think we might as well make the board our first topic of conversation, because that's kind of seismic breaking news in the world of Tottenham. So we're hearing that Daniel Levy is selling 24.9% of his shares to an American investment company. He's retaining just under 5% of ENIC, What do you make of this? Because it seems like ENIC and Tottenham have all been caught a little bit cold. So what's your raw take on the situation?
Well, it's a very interesting situation that will definitely develop over the next few weeks, without doubt. I think there are some really strange red flags about it. One is the fact that ENIC allegedly didn't know about it, which is a bit strange.
It is, isn't
Seems a
it?
bit strange. Not necessarily means that it didn't happen or not happening or anything like that, but it's just a bit strange. I think you can definitely read between the lines there and think that there's bad blood between Levy and ENIC for sure. And the other thing I think, which is oh, my God.
Still with me, Billy? Okay, so maybe it's time for a song. So I think what Billy was saying there about the bad blood, that was initially my response. I don't know what you guys are thinking and how you're feeling. Does this make you feel buoyant that you might get the change? You might get the change that you're feeling like you desperately need at the top of the club, or is there we go? Yeah, let's do that one until Billy's back with us. Or is it a case of this is going to be a bit of a stalemate? Because I remember a few years ago, we had a faction in our club, and there were basically a standoff between two majority shareholders, and it led to our biggest period of decline. It was kind of like they had no intention of making the club prosperous because it would have been more expensive to buy out the other player, to buy out the other person. So that was a major worry from our perspective. I'd be very interested, please, in the comments, let us know how you're feeling. Is it making you feel excited? Is it making you feel nervous? I echo what Billy is saying there with it depends on how this is all. Is it like a revenge mission from Daniel Levy, or is this kind of like an acknowledgement that the club needs to evolve and he's just being gracious and stepping back? So, but I was just elaborating on what you were saying there, Billy, about which one do you think it is? Do you think this is kind of like a hostile move, or do you think he's trying to bring people back into the fold and step back himself?
I think it's a hostile move, to be honest. I think it's the first one there. I think
Hey, Tom.
the situation, I mean, we're still in the dark over what happened, but there's a lot of
Okay.
bad blood there, as I was just saying before, because, you know, Daniel Levy, I don't know if people know that Daniel Levy was not even allowed to gather his things from his office when he left, and he was unceremoniously booted out, essentially. So there's something went on behind the scenes there, which we're still not really privy to. The thing which make it strange to me is I'm not really sure what's in it for the investor, who apparently is a guy that has been, or a consortium that tried to buy the club before and got rejected. And all the noise coming out from ENIC is we're not selling, we're not selling, we're not selling, we're not even interested in selling. So for them to spend what you would imagine is somewhere in the region of £750 million for a minor stake in Tottenham, where they won't have any input into any decisions. Daniel Levy is not a board member anymore. So whoever's taken over him is not going to have any input into anything. They're essentially just buying 25% of Tottenham just for. It remains to be seen why that is happening. What you might be able to read between the lines there is maybe their intention is to buy it fully next, but at the moment, you know, ENIC said they're not selling. They have no interest in selling. So, yeah, it's a bit strange. For me, I think this is Daniel Levy saying, well, I got lucky last year. If we'd have gone down, my shares would have halved in value. I'm going to sell it while I can. I'm going to get my almost $1 billion, which I imagine he's probably got roughly. I'm going to get out of there. So, yeah, and I think because the fact that the ENIC didn't know about it, there's definitely. I don't think this is the last we'll hear of this. There's definitely some bad blood there.
No, it's definitely going to rumble a little bit. Hopefully, I mean, I'd said for ages you guys weren't going to get relegated. I felt that this could be an exciting time for your club. I'm always a positive person like that, and I honestly do. I honestly believe with the right attitude upstairs. And this is why I was kind of like, oh, maybe you've turned a corner, because this whole thing that we hadn't put winning and football first. You've got De Zerbi. I honestly believe if you get this window right, that I honestly believe you should be pushing for Europe this year. And I think, what is your expectation from this window and moving forward for next season, Billy? Where are you kind of?
I mean, next season it's going to be crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
5 of the big 6 have got new managers going into the season. Arsenal are the only one without a manager. I mean, I'm not just saying this because you're on as well. I've said it all week, actually. I think Arsenal are going to. I honestly believe Arsenal are going to walk the league next year, just because they're the only club of any kind of stability. Like,
Interesting.
it'd be very strange. Like, you've got Carrick at Man United, you've got Maresca at Man City, you've got Alonso at Chelsea, you've got Iraola at Liverpool, you've got De Zerbi at Tottenham. All 5 of the big 6 got new managers. The rest of them are sort of being picked apart, and then Aston Villa, Newcastle are on the fringes. It's going to be, which also means for Tottenham there is a gap wide open. There's going to be one of those teams will mess up.
Absolutely.
I think the only one with any kind of stability to rival Arsenal is possibly Man United, because they've had Carrick for quite a while, but still a fairly newish manager. But I think Arteta will be looking at the next season thinking, I mean, we're in a really strong position here, because just Guardiola going just widens it open so much for everyone else.
What is crazy for me is that in the entire league, 20 managers, there's 1 league trophy between the Premier League trophy between them.
And it's Arteta.
That's nuts. As for our title chances, we've never retained a title since the 30s. It's a different world now, right? Yeah. Never done it.
Unless you're going to get a Scott-style season from someone.
Yeah.
Can't see. I don't. Unless you never. Man City, you can never write off, can you? But
you can't. And we don't know what's happening with them.
We don't know what's happening with Man City.
Because we played 63 games out of 65. Now, the last time I saw something like that was Liverpool, that played all 65. Nearly that they were like a hair's width away from immortality, the quadruple. And they really suffered the season after, and that was the first time we got second. Then you had City with the treble, and they haven't won the league since then, Yeah. And it takes something out of you. So when we've gone second, and the intensity of that, and now we've got it over the line, I'll be amazed if we're top 3 next year.
Really?
Yeah, sincerely. Really, you look at our squad and you look at it and you say, you should be able to go again and all the rest of it. But I think, like, if we try to play for all the trophies again, not happening. It's not going to happen.
I just don't know who the challenger's going to be. I don't know who the challenger's going to be. I don't know. I really don't. Because Maresca Man City could be up. You never know what's going to happen there. But there's just so much instability with Chelsea, Liverpool. I just also don't particularly back Man United to be a title winner at the moment. I think they're quite a long way off that. I think looking at the squads, it's only really Man City and Liverpool that could potentially challenge. But I just think you're in a really strong position because of Guardiola going, it's sort of leveled the playing field again for everyone, hasn't it?
It has. I honestly believe, I said this year, my prediction for this year was it was going to be a very competitive league.
Yeah.
And I said it will take a lower points total to win it.
Yeah.
And I predicted it would be somewhere between 78 and 84 points. Mm-hmm. We won it on 85. But if you think about it, technically, we could have won it on 79.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think is going to be the case next season as well. I think Chelsea having no European football.
Yeah, and
Alonso, that's enough for me. With their spending power and how their squad is, you look at their squad and it's just... Because I think there's that bit where football fans, they get really derisive about a player. And I look at it sometimes and there's a human being there. And the wrong system and the wrong environment can make a good player look bad.
Yeah.
And
well, you only need to say that with Thomas Frank's Tottenham. That's what we've had all season,
There we go. And I feel like Chelsea are one of the ones that are further down that can make that quick improvement. I think if the Tottenham players buy into De Zerbi, because De Zerbi likes expansive wing play, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He likes it. And you've got so many good players. Like, what's going to happen with Kulusevski? What's going to happen with Kudu? What's going to happen with all of these players coming back? I feel like you do need to... I haven't heard anyone from a number 9 sort of.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk transfers in a bit, Army. That's a big question mark for me as a number 9. Personally, I don't think Solanke or Richarlison are either good enough or fit enough to maintain a sort of top 6, top 4 kind of push. But that's a big question mark.
Do you think Richarlison because I understand the reservations with Richarlison, but there are times when he can look like a world beater and an absolute div tier 6 player in the same game sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, he's got. But for me, with the right manager giving him that belief, particularly with attacking football, I wonder if he can be a player for you still. I'm not saying he's the player, but out of Solanke and him, he's the one.
Me too.
You know what you get with Solanke,
Yeah.
but I felt like Richarlison can have that X factor.
And Solanke has become very unreliable in terms of fitness as well. And the problem is, so is Richarlison as well. But he scored some big goals with us in the run-in. He scored quite a few, ended up with 12 Premier League goals, which isn't great, but it's not awful. And, you know, he definitely, I think all Tottenham fans will agree, he knows how to score, Richarlison. Just doesn't really know how to do a lot else. His all-round game can suffer sometimes. But when he's on the pitch, he's fine. It's just they both have serious fitness concerns, both of them, like a lot of our players.
Do you think there'll be, because one of the breaking news for my club is that we sacked our team doctor just completely out of the blue.
I saw that yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, crazy. So if you think that we played Jurriën Timber in the Champions League final after failing to recover from a groin injury.
He's at the World Cup now, isn't he, as well?
And then he goes to the World Cup and the Netherlands medical team are like, it's not medically responsible to play him. I think somehow the situation is linked. Plus, we've been, I mean, season before last, our season was derailed through, we lost our entire front line and so many players. And then this season, it was touch and go at certain times for us. I'm wondering, do you think there'll be changes will those sort of things be evaluated this season, or is it merely looking at the first team for you guys?
I think it's going to be huge. De Zerbi's already mentioned it a lot before, and apparently there's a big review. The only problem with that is we did exactly the same last season. So Ange's last season, we had a horrific injury crisis. What I thought was going to be the worst I'd ever see, and then we got rid of the whole medical team, and then ended up having a worse one this season. So there's a big review. They're analysing the pitch and all sorts, and De Zerbi's involved in it. There's a big review into it, and we've hired a guy from Man City, which seems to be our go-to with Tottenham. We just try and hire someone from the City group to try and sort us out. It hasn't worked yet, but we'll keep trying. But there's a big review into it for sure. But it's plagued us for almost 3 seasons now. And last season, I've never seen anything like it before. But it's just such an important part of the modern game. But I mean, we lost, Maddison, Kulusevski, Kudus, Solanke, Bentancur at one stage. We had 4 ACL injuries last season, which I think is a Premier League record.
That's crazy.
It's just, I've never known anything like it, but something has to change. I've seen a lot of analysis into it. Something, doesn't help when you change managers all the time and they're doing different training routines. Some people blame the pitch, which I personally don't subscribe to, just because, when we first moved into the stadium for 4 years, it wasn't really a problem. But I think another thing is we're just not very good at rotating players, and these players play so many games now, especially when you're in Europe, it's difficult. But next season, no Europe. So it's a big opportunity for us, I think. And I think in general, if you look at the teams that did really well this season, Man United, Bournemouth, Brighton, not having Europe plays a massive factor, doesn't it?
It does.
Unless you've got a deep squad like Man City and Arsenal, it's very difficult to play 2 games a week. And I think, ironically, the teams like Bournemouth and Brighton that have got Europe for the first time in a while will really struggle. It sort of tends to be sort of you get into Europe with 1 game a week, you get into Europe, you struggle again, and then you get back to 1 game a week. It seems to be a pendulum, which unless you're the likes of Man City and Arsenal with very deep squads and real quality in there, it's really difficult to maintain.
So I think that segues us beautifully onto transfers. So we've already made a signing in Robertson, who I think is a really astute signing for you.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, I was the one Arsenal fan that was very pleased about signing Norgard, because I like that sort of decent club player.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the things that when I look at Tottenham, I think one of the things that you need are standard raisers.
Yeah.
In terms of in the dressing room mentality, on the training pitch, and commitment to the team.
Yeah.
And I think Robertson is just a complete professional. He is just that, it's born and bred in him. I think you've made a really, really clever signing there. He may not have the biggest impact in terms of uplift in the fullback area, but he's going to be a sound head to guide others, particularly if Tottenham bring a couple of youth team players into the squad, because I think this is the perfect moment for that. Because would I say Tottenham are going to go and have a title tilt? There is no reason why you couldn't. You look at it and you say, oh, we haven't got the quality in this, that, and the other. But it just takes consistency sometimes rather than quality. And to bring a couple of players in and all the rest of it, I think this is the time that is now. And you've already brought players in like Archie Gray. I mean, is this the next season when we see the establishment and breakthrough properly of Mikey Moore and players like that?
Yeah.
Or, it's what do you think? Is it a time to bring more youth through, or are you more interested in just trying to get yourself up the table?
I think hopefully it'll be a balance of both of those things. I think, Tottenham got some very good young players, Mikey Moore, Archie Gray, Bergvall, people that were almost teenagers that we've relied on because of our injury crisis, have played way more games than anyone ever anticipated. I mean, Archie Gray's before De Zerbi came in, he almost played every game. The season before, we played every game at centre-back even. And I think, everyone can see that Tottenham's problem is not necessarily a player problem, it's a mentality problem. We have very weak mentality. And someone like Robertson, who's won it all, literally won everything there is to win in football domestically, just a massive personality as well. And you need that sometimes, certainly. And, you can see it. You see it at Arsenal as well. They've got some big personalities like Declan Rice. When it really comes down to it, I know sometimes people ridicule Declan Rice, don't they? Because they say he's performative or whatever. But I think you need that leadership in there, and he really stepped up this year, didn't he? I think. And
I love him. I love leaders of teams.
Yeah,
you don't have to be a spectacular player. Not everybody is like 5-star skill moves and 5-star weak foot and Trevellas, and you get what I mean. Not everyone has to be the Neymars of the world or the Messis or all the rest of it. I like good, courageous players that will take responsibility on the pitch. And for me, he's been immense. We don't win the title without him this year.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've always loved that.
Unlucky not to get into the PFA shouts, isn't he? So, certainly in the top. And if England have a good tournament, he could even be in with a shout of Ballon d'Or, couldn't he? So yeah. Well, but Robertson, I think what says a lot about it as well. You can always tell with a player, can't you, by the way that the team that they're leaving talk about them. And Liverpool fans are devastated that he's going. I think. Yeah. I think it's probably the right time for everyone. But but I know their fans are devastated to see him go. He's an absolute massive fan favourite there, and it's a really good sign. And I think I don't think he'll be a starting left back because Udogie, but obviously what we know about Udogie is he can very rarely stay fit for a run of game. I think he had 4 injuries last season, so I'm sure Robertson's going to get a lot of minutes. There's no doubt about it. He'll get a lot of minutes, and I think he'll end up actually playing quite a lot for us. So
I agree.
He's got a bit in the tank as well.
And I also think there's a space for Robert, that double left back sometimes, pushing Udogie a little bit further forward, depending on personnel and all the rest of it. It's just
we've had to do recently. We've had to play Spence there a lot, and he's right-footed, and it just doesn't quite. Spence has done a good job at left back, and he actually plays there for England now. But funnily enough, going into the World Cup, but. Just like it's sometimes when you're on the left and you've got to try and cross the ball, you have to always cut inside and turn your body around. And you need a left footer there, and not many better crosses in the Premier League than Robertson, I would say.
No. So 2 players to talk about now. One of them is courtesy of Bobby of the Football Takeover, which he spoke about on his channel last night, and I thought he's extremely reliable, and one that Dermo himself has let me know. So 2 players that we're hearing are basically done, just waiting for the announcement. One is Senesi of Bournemouth, who I think is a brilliant signing for you, which probably means your captain is on the move.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad thing.
No, I don't. I agree. When you talk about leaders, what we were just talking about there, it's not Romero, I'm afraid. He's not that kind of guy.
So Declan Rice would never have been looking to go and watch West Ham play football if we were on the verge of relegate. He would have been on
these sort of characters that you have.
Right.
Just it's the circus that attracts Romero as well. He's a fantastic player on his day. Brilliant player.
He is. Yes, he is.
I think in his 5 years at Tottenham, he's missed 40% of games. So he's always availability rate, which is terrible.
That is terrible. And when you're like, I'm an outside looking in, he feels volatile. And I don't think volatility is a good component for a defender.
Yeah.
You need them to stay on the pitch. You need them to stay calm under pressure. Picking up stupid red cards is not it.
I mean, we were blessed, like you're blessed right now. We were blessed with the partnership of Vertonghen and Alderweireld for 4 or 5 years, and it's like what you're experiencing now. You just go into every game knowing that they will not make a mistake, and they will just be. Saliba and Gabriel are almost infallible, aren't they? And they just don't having that. When you had Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld for so long, you take it for granted. Really, you just go into games knowing that it's just such a relief, isn't it, to have 2 centre backs like that? They're not going to make us, particularly when you see people like Romero make a high-profile mistake, and you see it at Man United, Liverpool, and it's just, and people, then you get the odd centre backs. You get like your Gabriels, your Salibas, your Van Dijks, your Alderweireld. These centre backs that just don't make any mistakes whatsoever, and that is such a big thing. And I think Romero, unfortunately, has cost us as many times as he saved us this season. I think he's had 3 red cards, missed a lot of games through suspension. He also had 12 yellow cards as well as the 3 reds, and missed a lot of games through injury. Sometimes he just literally goes missing, and I don't mean that in the playing sense. I mean he actually just goes to Argentina randomly sometimes, as he did in the last week of our relegation battle. So yeah, it's just I know people at the time. I mean, when we went on the good Europa League run, people were comparing Van de Ven and Romero to Toby Alderweireld and Vertonghen, but for me, no
way. For me, that partnership is possibly your best Premier League partnership.
So. I think so. I agree.
In terms of everything you needed from a defensive duo, that is the closest you have ever been in the Premier League. Bearing in mind, I'm an unusual Arsenal fan where I can appreciate other teams and respect other teams, right? So you've had great players. Like one of my, if I'm allowed to say that, favourite Tottenham players, Ledley King.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other one.
No. I'm not here to talk to you. But Ledley King, I immensely talented, immensely talented player. Even back to Gary Mabbott and all of those, you've had good defenders all the way through. But as a team, as a duo, I think that was the closest you've got to ticking all of the boxes at one time. Romero and Van de Ven, I think Van de Ven is at times is a slight maturity thing for me, ever so slightly at times.
He lost his head quite a few times this season, to be honest.
But I don't think that helps. I don't think that helps having that alongside you. I think you put somebody that's very stable and very calm. I think Senesi and Van de Ven could give Alderweireld and Vertonghen a run for the money once them 2 settle.
It's a really exciting signing, particularly for free as well, Senesi.
Yeah,
this makes a lot of sense. And then
really
got the guy we're going to talk about next as well.
Go on, you talk it.
We're very strongly linked with Van Hecke at Brighton. I don't want to count the chickens before they've laid the eggs or anything, but seems to be one that will get over the line. But there you've got 2 of the best centre backs in terms of ball playing from statistically last year, and with Danso and Van de Ven, it's a good set of 4 centre backs. So it's exciting times. And in general, I know we're going to talk about transfers. I think it's been a really decent start to Tottenham in the transfer window, because it looks like we've got these 4 players that we're going to talk about tonight pretty much over the line, and the transfer window is not even open yet. So it's been a good start. And it links back to what we were talking about the board earlier, because they promised this new era.
Yeah,
and it's a promising start. But as every Tottenham fan listening will know, we've been here many times before. We've seen these kind of false starts before, and it's all about the next step. Can they deliver something which is really going to make a difference, that we're all sort of skeptical about? But I have to say, we get Senesi, Van Hecke, Savinho, and Robertson over the line early doors. It's a very good start to the window.
Very good start. I want to talk about Savinho as well. So when Mikel Arteta started his revolution, 2 game changers that he brought in for us was Zinchenko and Gabby Jesus. We got them from...
I was thinking about that from Man City, the Man City link there.
And it just feels... Do you know, you're Robertson and and Savinho.
I was going to bring up exactly the same point. You say that.
Okay, go for it. What's your thoughts?
I was going to ask you because I was going to ask you what sort of And I think, if Tottenham are ever going to go on to achieve something like a league title or something like a major trophy, and I do think Arsenal have got to be the blueprint, because in terms of, when neither of us are funded by, oil money or anything like that, we spend within our means.
Preach.
Yeah, we spend within our means, both of us.
Exactly.
We spend what we generate. So there is a blueprint there, and Tottenham, if they wanted to, they could spend the money that Arsenal spend if they wanted to. They have the money to do it. I was just wondering, when did you start to feel differently as a fan, when you think, we're maybe not just challenging for Champions League anymore, maybe we actually are challenging? What kind of signings was it that made you think, actually, no, I think we're not just a top 4 team anymore, we're now challenging? Because obviously you had essentially 4 title challenges in a row, and you really got really, really close. And I think, particularly in the last few years, it's been neck and neck with Man City, essentially, which I think, now that Guardiola's gone, I think that achievement we'll look back on as being, the match Guardiola is as good as it gets, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you think was Zinchenko and Jesus a moment, or was it, for me, outsider looking in, I think if Tottenham are ever really serious, you have to go and get the Declan Rice sign, and that's the one which really propels you, isn't it?
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So, we went and brought Gabriel for 20 million from Lille, and he didn't look spectacular in his but to begin with, he looks like a defender. But you've got to remember, that first title challenge year, we were looking to sell him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. And so I remember us being out in America, and he looked a little shaky because you knew the rumours were there,
Who was he playing with then? Saliba would have been on loan, wouldn't he, back then?
So we brought, so that was Ben White at centre-back.
Ben White, yeah, that's it, yeah.
And so we had then
Zinchenko was
Saliba. That's right. And so that was the first season that we brought Saliba in.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was seeing green shoots in the terms of the profile. And you know what football fans do? Somebody starts playing, and it's like one of the things that annoy me is when Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans want to talk about the best right back. And it's like, you beta male losers. Shut up. It's all, my dad can beat up your dad. Why can't you just respect both players and say James is a world-class right back, and he's arguably the best in the Premier League, and Timber is a world-class right back, and he's arguably one of the best in the league.
And they're completely different players, aren't they? Yeah,
they're completely different players. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. And if you wouldn't trade one for the other, which I genuinely wouldn't trade for James, but I completely respect the player. So grateful that he's English. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't feel like it needs to be like that. So it's just kind of like these players come through and you see these green shoots, and I'm looking at your team, and it's not like the people that you've signed, you've not had competition for. It's not like you've gone and signed the player and nobody else is not interested, and you're the only one in the queue looking around going, okay, I'll buy this one, in an echoing chamber. You have got players, and it is just, I think it was that first title run, I didn't quite believe it, because it was like we had imposter syndrome. They had never challenged before in their life. They got to the end of the season, we fell short, and you could tell that they didn't really believe it, because Liverpool dropped off so badly, and everybody was like, I remember the season before, nobody is beating City or Liverpool for years. And then the second season, it was like, oh, okay, we are kind of at this level, and we are staying above Liverpool. Okay, and it was kind of like a mixture of not just the Declan Rice signing, because Enzo at Chelsea hasn't had same sort of price bracket, but I wouldn't spend that money on him. So it's not just spending big. It's seeing that it was the attitude in the dressing room and the team that was eking out. You just got that feeling that you're onto something. And I think if they get this recruitment right for you, it has to be a little bit industrious. It has to be real backbone and steel. Do you know what I mean?
It means we're almost at the phase where Arteta was when he started, and Arteta got rid of a lot of players, didn't he? He got rid of a lot of players.
We had more divas, though. I mean, because it's not often that we go out there in our history. We brought Dennis Bergkamp, but he had failed at Inter.
Yeah.
We went and got Aubameyang. We've got Ozil, but Ozil wasn't wanted at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Sanchez wasn't wanted at Barcelona. We've always got the scraps off the table, if you know what I mean, and done quite well with it. It's always been the players that we've developed that are unheralded that we've done better with. And I think that's where, if anything, that's the next 3 windows for you, where you go summer, winter, summer, and just sticking with a blasted manager. I think that's the one thing you've got to do. You've got to stick with a manager and go, you're going to see us through. Because
and I think that's the blueprint that Arsenal have done as well. Because obviously they stuck with Arteta when it was a bit shaky at the beginning. Then obviously, everyone's seen what's happened since. But every transfer window you go into it trying to improve your squad, which I think, that's what Tottenham fans want, is that, I mean, even now Arteta's saying this summer's massive for us. And I just feel like, Arsenal are the blueprint in that fact that if you just back a manager consistently for that long, eventually you're going to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's it. It's persistence, it's will. And so if you're asking a player to come and get you to the promised land, you've got to be determined up above to make sure that happens, that you've got to kind of go.
It's a bit like Van Dijk for Liverpool as well, wasn't it? And Alisson, when they made those 2 signings, like, oh wow, they might be serious now.
So Tottenham fans, hey Daz, thank you. And please do support Dermo, support the channel. Please get the like button and subscribing. We've got nearly 1,200 people watching right now. So thank you so much for spending your time with us as we gas about football and all the rest of it. If you are able to, please get over to YouTube, leave a comment, let us know what you want to talk about. Leave a comment. If there is a topic you want to talk about, get it in the comments right now and we'll get round to it. I think you're going to be okay. I think it is just about measuring reality to expectation.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we're anywhere near the Declan Rice phase yet. We're at the bit before that first.
Right now, I was going to mention that. So that is really interesting because I was going to say there is reality, there is expectation.
Yeah.
So when we finished 8th and 8th, I had Arsenal fans talking about we're going for this, that, and I'm like, where did you get that from? Where did the last 2 years give you that confidence that you think we're going to go and do this? So you've gone 17th and 17th. The thing is, you are not the 17th best team in the league.
Yeah,
that's an absolute mockery. Injuries, attitude, squad motivation, all of that lot.
Yeah,
for me, you are definitely a top 8 team. Okay, I'm not. You or not? That's where I think at the moment with the current squad you've had.
Yeah.
Not with where you could be. That's honestly where I've got you pegged.
Yeah.
You should be top 6. But I think with the squad, depending, it should never be doing what it's just done. So now you've got to go, right, what players can we attract that are 7? We've gone 17th, 17th, and we've got to move up the table. You've now got to attract those players that are going to help you compete religiously for the Champions League spots. You've got to be aiming to consolidate somewhere between 7th and 3rd right now. Would you agree with that? Because to turn around and say you're going to jump X amount of you're going to jump Liverpool or Arsenal or City or United or right now, I don't think it's realistic. So
and again, you can kind of point to Man United last season, can't you? Because they finished 16th. They bought Mbeumo, Cunha, and Sesko, and a few others, the goalkeeper, and they go from 16th to 3rd. So that's that's the very top end of what I think we could. I'm not saying I don't think we're going to finish 3rd next season, God no. But the jump is possible if you get the transfer window right. Especially as we said before at the beginning of this, 1 game a week is massive.
Yeah,
as it proved for Man United.
just for the preparation. That preparation and keeping yourself sharp and the intensity that you can do in training, proper training sessions, proper prep. You're not going here, there, and everywhere. You're literally sleeping in your own bed most nights. Yeah. All of these things is a human thing. You're seeing that you're having more contact time with your family. You get more downtime. All of these things having an impact on a mental and physical well-being. And I think people forget that when we're talking about players like they're robots. And so you and
Especially
Chelsea
after a
could
World
see.
Cup as well, isn't it? Like it's just
Oh,
if you're an Arsenal player right now, you've played 60. What did you say? 65 games? Did you say
63
And
out
now
of
you're about to
65.
now you're about if you're Saka or Rice, you've also got the expectation that England will go all the way. Like England
Yeah.
are supposed to go all the way this summer. So that's you've had a massive mental season, incredibly
Yeah.
mentally draining. Almost
Yeah.
won all 4 trophies at one point, and now you've
Yeah.
got to go and try and win the World Cup as well. And the downtime's going to be like
Right.
2 weeks, isn't it, for these guys?
So then, yeah, it's something like there's a couple of weeks before the end of the World Cup and the start of the season, but players
Yeah.
have to have a mandatory 3 weeks. So when do
Yeah.
they get the pre-season?
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, you know, they've got to have a rest. They've got to have their pre-season. And I was like, wow, you know, going again off a World Cup year is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Had we done it on a not World Cup year, I'd be more optimistic.
Yeah.
So I think the entire table gets decided next year on who rotates and manages load best and gets lucky with injuries. That is my prediction for the title,
Yeah,
people.
I agree.
Okay,
That's
what it comes down
those
to.
new managers, isn't it? And it's
Yeah.
almost impossible to predict. I think, like I said, I honestly believe that Arsenal are quite clear favourites because of the stability they've got. But like you said, I didn't really factor in the fact that you guys played 65 games last season. So
yeah.
it's
Well,
mad.
this is why I think Alonso will do really, really well with Chelsea because, you know, he's had the sting of trying to manage Real Madrid, right? But
He's got
before
this
that,
good squad for him as well, isn't it? He likes it. He did really wonders with a young squad at Leverkusen.
exactly.
Chelsea are just
And
there to be moulded, aren't they? They're so young.
so getting that team over the line from where it was from a Chelsea point of view, you know, it's plausible. The quality in player doesn't drop off, does it?
Yeah.
It really. Because when you look at the Chelsea squad, there are. I mean, I always find the Chelsea squad really hard to judge because you got to remember they sold KDB and Salah.
They spent 2 billion as well. They spent
they've spent 2 billion
more than anyone.
But they sold 2 of the biggest Premier League legends because they couldn't get into their team.
Yeah.
So they could have anything sat there right now, and we wouldn't know. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like
they've got the academy. They've got an unbelievable academy as well. You know.
Yeah.
They seem to get rid of their academy players every window as well.
Great prices as well.
Yeah.
Like they've played one game and it's like you've sold him for 30 million and you're like
backhanded going on there.
Right. So the other thing that I wanted to get
wide open, isn't it? It's really fascinating next season.
It's exciting, isn't it? I'm really excited about it, Billy. I think it's going to be one of the best seasons in a long time, and not because I think my club will win it, because I just think it's going to be highly competitive. I really do.
I know we'll only spend a second talking about this. So what do you make of Iraola at Liverpool? I think that's one to keep an eye on, isn't it? Not sure how that's going to go. I mean, it could go anywhere.
Yeah, it really could. Do you know what that might hinge on? How he manages Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Because Salah's gone, that big personality is gone, right?
Yeah.
Van Dijk is one of the greatest defenders ever to grace the Premier League. He really is. His legacy is not in question. I think when he is poor, Liverpool is poor.
Yeah, agree.
He was decent for the majority of their.
Konate as well, haven't they?
They've lost Konate. So for me, Liverpool always spend big, and they are spending relatively like players that you'd go, oh yeah, I'd love to sign Wirtz, and everybody wanted Kirkes, and Frimpong is no slouch. You know,
well, everyone said last season the title's already wrapped off after the summer transfer, didn't they?
Right. So they always get those sort of players where you're like, oh yeah, I would have signed that player too. Oh, you've signed that one.
Yeah.
And it's just they've got to get that right, because if Van Dijk is an undercurrent in that dressing room for a new manager at any point in the season, that could make that season quite tricky.
I agree.
Because I don't know, who was it that said, you know, quit football before the football, leave football before the football leaves you. Right.
Yeah.
I think there is an element of that. Who they put next to him is going to be quite key.
I agree.
And I think what they do with their midfield as well, they need Gravenberg. I so rate him as a player.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player. And
But they,
Szoboszlai as well. I think they've
yeah, Szoboszlai.
two really good players.
They will need to be on it next season. Kirkhead's, well, he's now teaming back up with the manager he was with before that last got the best out of him.
Verts and a pretty poor season overall, didn't he?
Verts
not a poor
and
season,
Isak.
but not the season they would have expected for 100 million.
No, but I think getting that first season out of the way sometimes, it is just what you need to do. Because again, I go back to the human element. You're uplifting your family, you're moving, this, that, and the other. But I'm talking more Verts than Isak.
Yeah.
And you're moving country.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It is a lot to do. And if your wife isn't settling well, or your children aren't settling well, whatever it may be, and then with
shows
Isak,
you how hard it is, doesn't it? As well. So someone like Verts was so highly rated, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
I still think he is.
Yeah. Me too.
I just feel like there's a bit with sometimes in the German league, it's hard to gauge these technical players due to the speed and the intensity, and does that translate over? And I think sometimes it takes that second season. So I think he will come good next year.
Yeah.
Isak didn't have much of a preseason, so
and if you go the other way, you got Elise and Kane, who are decent, very good in the Premier League, but absolutely unbelievable in the Bundesliga, aren't they? Like, step miles above the rest of them. And even Luis Diaz as well is like miles ahead of their other players.
Yeah. Would you take Harry back for a swan song?
Oh God, yeah, I would.
You would.
I would kill for him back. Yeah, I think he's probably had his best of a season this season. I mean, he scored more goals than Tottenham last season. To put it in perspective, he scored 60 goals. He scored more goals.
That's a crazy statement.
Yeah,
that is a crazy statement.
Than Tottenham. So, I'd be interested to see what happens at the World Cup with him. I think you're already getting the kind of, every tournament, isn't it? The Harry Kane talk is he drops deep too much and all that stuff. But he did it at Bayern Munich this year and scored 65 goals. So
moving on to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Moving on to the World Cup. What is your minimum expectation for England, and what is your, apart from I want to win it?
Yeah.
What is your minimum expectation, and what do you think is the aspirated sort of, this is realistic?
It's got to be semi-final at least for England. It has to be at this stage. You've got Kane, Bellingham, all these players. You've got such a good squad, but I don't know. I don't. In my heart of hearts, I don't look at England and think they're going to win the World Cup this year. I'm a little bit baffled by some of the players that have been left out of the tournament. People like Gibbs White. I think it's crazy that he's not there.
Right.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
No.
A few others as well. I mean, I know Foden and Palmer have had pretty dodgy seasons, but you just kind of feel if England are struggling for a goal, then you can just bring those two on, as we did in the Euros final with Palmer. I just look at the France squad and the Spain squad. I know
it's scary, isn't it?
France squad. They've got Elise, Doué, Dembele, and Mbappe as a front four. It's just how on earth do you compete with that? It's like,
and Barcola.
I can't see anyone. Yeah, I can't see past France personally, but
no,
I never know with the international tournaments, do you? That's the beauty of it.
It's just who turns up. I mean, the thing about France, they leave a better squad at home than most people take to the World Cup.
I know, exactly.
That's what's crazy. That is what's crazy. You're like, okay, and we got to go, but it's 90 minutes, and it is just kind of
PSG team plus Mbappe plus Elise.
Yeah.
Elise
I know.
Be the best player in Europe.
And Dembele. I mean, just could you imagine being a defender?
Yeah.
And you've now got to take care of like Doué, Dembele, and Mbappe.
And Elise.
Gosh, and Elise,
who's also could have played for England, by the way. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a sad one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Spain are really strong as well. I love the two wingers that they've got, Williams and Lamine Yamal. Obviously, you can never write. Argentina have won 3 back-to-back tournaments, haven't they? So you can never write them off. No. Yeah, should be really competitive.
You know what? I've got to say, I'm more worried about Portugal than Argentina.
I mean, what a midfield they've got. So they've got Fernandes, Coutinho, Neves, and they've got My thing with Portugal is, I think they'd be better off leaving Ronaldo at the team, wouldn't they, at this point?
100%. I'm glad you said it, because I think they look a much better team. Yeah. If you need to, I mean, impact sub, maybe.
Yeah, he's 40 years old, isn't he?
I know. But for me, they are such a better team without it. I know.
Really good yeah, Portugal are
Yeah.
a really good shout of winning, I think.
Do you trust FIFA not to try and engineer a
know.
Ronaldo versus Messi final?
Messi, yeah, they knew. That would just be the big in America as well. That would be the biggest
I
game in the
know.
history of football, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at some permutations, and I think they could play in the semis as well, couldn't they? Argentina, Portugal, which
Could
would be
they? Right.
which would be
Okay.
massive. I mean, just imagine that. Like the whole world would stop, wouldn't it? This is just a shame
It
that they're
really would.
they're both pushing 40, not in their prime, but
I know. And then you're looking at who's going to take over the crown, really. I think the closest we've got to it is Mbappe.
Yeah.
But
and Lamine Yamal,
it's
maybe.
not quite. Yeah, you mean Lamal, probably.
Yeah.
So for us, yeah, I echo that.
What do you think for England? What about you? What's your expectations for England? I think we have to get to if we don't get to a semi-final, it's a failure for England, really, isn't it?
I'm a little bit concerned about what type of football that
me too.
Tuchel's going to play.
Massively.
I honestly feel that he's trying to emulate Arteta a little bit in the way that we control set pieces, and I'm not sure that's going to work on international football because it's always on a knife edge. Yeah, and I've just had a whole season of that. I don't want another. I want to enjoy
almost
my
every
summer.
Flair player is left at home, hasn't he? So
yeah. So I think if the stars align and it is about this team just turning up and performing, because let's face it, a midfield of Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, and Jude Bellingham is no slouch.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's almost
really
dream
is.
team level, isn't it?
Yeah. Harry Kane doing his thing. But the thing about having Harry Kane for me, then you need Jude Bellingham to ghost past him.
Yeah, or Rashford and Saka runners.
Exactly that. You need runners either side of him as well.
Which is we could never quite get right with Harry Kane. We could never put runners off for some reason in England.
No. So we would need to emulate, for me, more Bayern Munich to get the most out of him than Arsenal. And so I hope Tuchel understands that and that's the sort of game plan they execute. Because if we do that, then yes, semi-final is a definite possibility. Then anything after that, you're in the lap of the gods, basically.
Yeah. So the only problem is for England is we don't quite have the world-class centre-backs, do we? And I think, we got some. They're okay. Gay is decent, but
I like Gay.
Yeah, if you look at the likes, the real top class centre backs, quite world class, are we, England, and defensively?
I think it's good enough though. If Stones is fit enough, I think Stones and
Rice
Gay
and Anderson in front of you as well. That's pretty
exactly. Decent. That's a very decent. And then you got James on the right.
Yeah.
Who would like
Spence
to be our left?
There. Spencer, which
could
surprise more Tottenham fans than anything, I think.
Yeah, he could do. You've got Livramento that can play both sides. Did we take Lewis Hall? I can't remember now.
Which I think is a surprise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, every team does have a weakness. You don't always think of it when you're looking at other teams because you only see the positives in others when you're. Yeah. So we'll see.
Got any surprise shouts of the World Cup?
I was wondering. That's a good question because I was looking at that and I was like, who? So apart from like the obvious, that was Portugal. I felt like out of the other one only because of their route, not because of potentially the team or anything else. Is Holland, the Netherlands? I think they've got a route there where they could go quite deep into the final. But this could be. Mexico could.
Yeah. I think with the home advantage as well.
Exactly.
I think England could play Mexico in the quarters, I think, and that would be right. Playing them at home in Mexico, the atmosphere would be unbelievable. It'd be like nothing we've ever seen in Europe. But the Mexican atmosphere is like, wow, that's going to be unbelievable.
And as usually, the home team does kind of.
Yeah.
And I just think that out of obviously Canada and United States, I feel like is further behind Canada.
Yeah, I agree.
And out of the three home nations, Mexico is definitely for me ahead. Watch that now be all wrong. That'll be all backwards.
That's the thing about World Cup, though, is that you can never, really know until it happens.
But the other ones that was making me wonder was, Japan is.
Yeah, they're always really tough to beat, aren't they, Japan?
And the humidity factor and all of that sort of stuff. They've got really good pros. They're fit as a fiddle. They're another one where I would say could do something. And then I'm looking at the African nations.
Yeah. And then Morocco will be tough to beat, won't they?
Morocco, and because it's that sort of the heat, the intent.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking around and thinking, who could kind of adapt well enough? It could be that all of the European teams just bomb out. It's been too hard a season.
It's got a usual dark horse is Croatia, but they seem to have had the same team for about 20 years now, don't they?
I know.
And then Modric is still going to be there as well.
It's like Winter Soldier with Modric.
Yeah.
They literally go in and it's like, and then it's like out he comes and he's kind of like,
I think Modric and Ronaldo, and maybe they're all 40, aren't they? So obviously will be their last one, I imagine. But
I know. So we got here from Giant. Do USA even make the knockout stages?
No, I don't know. I don't particularly. I know
looked
we have a
good.
few American listeners, but
they've not looked great in the friendlies, and I know that's friendlies.
So who have they got? They've got Paraguay, Australia. I mean, it's a favourable group. They've got Paraguay, Turkey, and Australia. I imagine Turkey will probably be looking at that thing and they could top that group.
And just hear from Nigel. Nigel's like, come on, you Spurs, shut those Gooners up next season. Biggest moaners on the radio. My first love, Norwich City, but Spurs have always got a soft spot for over the years playing entertaining football. I seem to remember Nigel saying in the previous stream that's family related with Spurs. So if that is the case, Nigel, let us know or I'm BSing, So great support there. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like, share, the like and the subscribe. If you're new, why not subscribe if you're enjoying this, So we are kind of on the fence with America making the knockouts. I am...
Is it the three teams go through in each group?
Give me those teams again. Paraguay,
Australia, Turkey. I mean, it's pretty favourable.
Turkey's got to top that group, right? Yeah, and then, so for me, that would be between them and Paraguay.
Yeah, I agree. And Paraguay, one of those teams that's always there or thereabouts, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, maybe then. Maybe it's the third place, because I would say Australia are in quite poor shape.
Is it every...
Last I heard...
I should know this, but is it every third, or is it like the best third places go through?
It might be the best third places.
Yeah.
Because it's the final 30... It goes 32-16.
Yeah. Loads of teams in this one.
So our final subject before we wrap the stream up is the breaking news of everything that's so you've got ENIC being sold under its nose right now, but that's not even the most scary news being broken in the world of football when we've got West Ham saying hold my beer, Tottenham fans.
Yeah,
and the disturbing news that is breaking about their hierarchy. I mean, how on earth do you recover? They've lost Karen Brady. The who was she? She was the vice chairman.
Yep, stepped down,
and that stepped down.
Obviously, related to this in hindsight,
right? And now we've got the news breaking about David Sullivan.
Yeah,
on a club that's already relegated.
Yeah,
I mean, but just when you don't think it could get much worse.
Yeah.
But maybe this is what West Ham... I mean, again, this is typical me, looking for the silver lining on all that jazz. Is this the time for West Ham, maybe new ownership, rebirth?
Got to be, hasn't it? Got to be.
It has to be, hasn't it?
I mean, they're in a similar situation with us, where they're being ran by their owners' children. So, I mean, both of those are in, it's just funny, isn't it, how your football club that you spend your whole life suddenly is in the hands of someone's child who you don't know anything about. It's just crazy how that can happen, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, Nepo babies, fantastic. Yeah. But I
know they're going to redo the fit and proper test, aren't they, on David Sullivan now? Apparently, they're going to redo it because of this new news that comes out, and I imagine he will fail it. To be honest,
you would like, if that was any substance to that test.
Yeah,
you'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, they're one of our rivals, but you, as football fans, you just don't.
I feel for West Ham fans right now.
You don't want to see fans that have to go through this because they're owners. It's horrible. It doesn't matter who you support, doesn't it? When you get owners like this that ruin a football club essentially, and one of the most traditional football clubs we have, it's just horrible for everyone concerned. I mean, Tottenham have had problems with their owners. Newcastle had the same, and it's just you're at the hands of these owners, really, aren't you? And they're essentially these rich billionaires or multi-millionaires, and You know, they control the thing we all love.
One of my biggest, but I'd like to do a show on that with you at some point, Billy.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Because I think it is definitely one of the biggest concerns about football. It's like what we started off the show talking about ENIC, and just to catch anybody up that's joined late, that Daniel Levy has sold nearly 25% of his shares to an American investment company, retaining just under 5%. And this has come at a big surprise to ENIC, and it's come at a big surprise to Tottenham, which is huge concerns. And as Billy informed us, that is 750 million. The thing that goes through my brain, Billy, is these people are not known for their generosity.
Yeah.
They're not known for their altruism or, you know, being like charitable and all of that sort of stuff. That's why they've got 750 million to burn, because there's usually a lot of misery somewhere along the line, like minimum wage and bad business practices that accumulate this wealth. How on earth do they get that 750 million back? Where's the value? It's like what's going on at Chelsea. They spent nearly just over 4 billion taking it over and clearing the debt. They've spent a further 2 billion. This is a leveraged takeover. If you know what that means, it's basically done on debt and owing to shareholders and that sort of stuff. So at some point, they've got to get this money back to them. That's £6 billion now into the hole. How on earth do you recover £6 billion?
It's crazy, isn't it? And I when we do that show, I'll tell you the full story. But I once met Donna Cullen from Tottenham. She said to me, there's a long story behind that. She said to me, you know how you make a small fortune from football is you start with a big one. And I think that's true, isn't it? You're not getting any return unless you're a sort of sports washing operation where you know you're not getting your money back. You're doing it for other reasons. No one's buying a football club to make money, are they? Because you're not going to make it. You're going to lose it.
No,
a lot of it.
No, and this is it. I mean, it was like United and the Glaziers. The Glaziers
they take money out of it, don't they?
Oh gosh, they used the entity that was the club to buy the club without putting a penny of their own money in it. Quite not too dissimilar to Abramovich. Abramovich didn't, after buying the club for a nominal value, really, didn't put a single penny of his own money. He just ran up debt. And it is just crazy to me. And then it's like at some point, this bubble has to burst.
Yeah.
And what does the landscape of football look like after it does? So I mean, I never, just like you wouldn't, I'm never going to go and say, I want Tottenham to win a trophy. You wouldn't say I want Arsenal to win a trophy. I can hand on my heart say, if you guys land the league, every fibre of my being will be like, however, I will never, ever, ever be disrespectful, because I will respect your achievement because it is done organically by a real club that is not supported by the wealth of a nation or ill-gotten gains and some sort of despotic regime. I will respect it. I respect United.
That's what I was saying earlier about how I
respect United's treble.
Arsenal are like the blueprint for us in that regard.
Yeah. And I respect United's treble, and I respect what Liverpool have done. I'm not fans of them. You know, they've had loads of success. They don't need any more. And it is just kind of a case of, but I respect them. Like Everton, big club. You know, it's kind of like I respect the clubs that do it organically. If Newcastle get there without cheating and doing anything that they shouldn't, because they've got 10 times the money that that City have, then I will respect it. It'll be well done. You've done it.
And funny enough, we were both at the hands of, we finished second behind Chelsea. You finished second behind Man City a lot of times, and if life was a bit fairer, we'd both have a few more league titles to our name, rather than, I mean, we've spoken about it on this channel before, but the 115 charges is apparently going to come out soon. I'd be very skeptical if it ever does, but it's just a shame. This is what happens to our league, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think it's important that whatever happens there, if guilty, needs to be dealt with. Because if we don't deal with that sufficiently, and we set a precedent that you can get away with this, what does Newcastle do? And they will
Yeah.
change the landscape of football. So
It's
it
like
does
Chelsea,
need
though,
to,
isn't it? Chelsea just
yeah,
got away with a fine, didn't they? And like, it's they've essentially cheated by selling their women's team to themselves and all this nonsense.
hotels and all of
Yeah.
that sort of stuff.
And then
But
they
I
get
mean,
fined and say, well, okay, well, I'll do it again then, because that's all I got was a big fine.
yeah,
So,
I'll take the fine because we've got
and
lots
then
of
you get
money.
the championship teams that are deducted like 12 points every year. It's like,
Make it make sense.
Yeah,
I know. So I don't think we're going to hear that till after the World Cup. I
Yeah.
think the World Cup has to dominate the sports pages. They won't want anything taken away from it. I think
I
there is
agree.
a couple of weeks window between after the World Cup and the start of the season. And if we don't hear something by then,
We never will.
we never will.
Yeah.
We never will. Because I think that is then you need to set that up going into the new season.
Yeah.
So if we ever do, I think that's when it will be. But if I was just going to say, was there anything else that you were like, oh, I was going to bring that up this evening? Or do you feel like we've scratched all the itches that you wanted to talk about this evening?
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be interesting, obviously, next week, the transfer window opening. Just feels a bit strange with transfers because the World Cup, doesn't it? But you expecting a busy transfer window for Arsenal?
I think so. For me, I definitely want that sort of three-pronged attack. I don't think Arsenal are going down this route personally, but I would quite like to see a strong left winger come in.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen links which would terrify me as a Tottenham fan to Kvaratskhelia. That would be a heartbreaker for me. If he could.
No, we would never get a
I
player
think we'd
like
have to wrap up the league by September if that happens.
I think we might Morgan Rogers.
Yeah.
And so when you ever look at Morgan Rogers and you look at Eze and both essential to left, I feel like we are sort of maybe returning slightly to Wenger ball-esque in the terms of, if you remember when we had Rosicky and Cazorla, very technical, interchangeable, free-flowing players.
And we had forwards rather than out-and-out wingers, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that will be the case for Saka also. I don't know if he's going to get that yard of pace back, so it would make more sense. One of the things that guy's gifted with is his ability to control the ball and turn in tight spaces, which lends him to a right-sided 10 all day long.
Yeah.
So if you've got the right fullbacks to go beyond, that would make us a lot more dangerous down the middle.
Yeah.
Because the two games that I can think that we struggled this year was City and PSG.
Yeah.
And they've got so much pace in the wing-back, full-back areas that we couldn't make any real headway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be more interesting our outgoings for me because what do we do with players like Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, Odegaard?
What signing Trossard's been, by the way? That's what you want in January, isn't it? That's what you want, a 12 million or whatever it is.
He was electric when he joined. He just ran at teams
at the same window as well.
Such a good player, and he's got such a good strike on him as well.
Chipped him as well, doesn't he?
He does, and he's just one of those that he's one of the best. Him and Gyökeres are the two best strikers off the ball we've got at the club.
Yeah.
The very clean connection. Does that
big
make
game
any
player
sense?
as well, isn't he, Trossard? He was big goals.
just pops up. So what we do with some of the players that haven't consistently impacted games this season is going to be interesting. How Arteta trusts the attack to play, and that defensive base that we've got, and allow the team to play. I think there's going to be a slight evolution in our style. So hopefully, because it was a tough watch this season, 20 games that were 1-0, a load of draws as well. All the game, or not 1-0, but by 1 goal, sorry.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that, that's a lot of games on the knife edge. And if you're a human being dealing with a stress situation, could you imagine that? That's like 28, nearly 30 games where the game is continuously in the balance.
Yeah.
That's not to mention the ones we lost. So I think that's too much for people to endure. So we've got to change. So it could be quite a key window for us in terms of what happens with us the next 2 years, I think.
Yeah, it's just interesting because obviously the World Cup's got going to pause everything for a month or so, isn't it, in terms of transfers?
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah. And but I think also the 115 and what happens with City.
Yeah.
This is why we're all looking at Anderson and going,
Yeah.
well, what you seem to have a straight run at this. Why is the signing not landed?
Yeah.
And this is what I would say to everybody: pay attention.
And even
'Cause
Guardiola, you can sort of read between the lines a little bit there.
Exactly. And it is just kind of like with that particular situation, City have the money. They've got the headroom as well to pay what they need to pay to land him, and he would be their Declan Rice signing.
Yeah.
There's not a problem with the wages or anything like that. So it's kind of like we know money's not an issue. We know budget's not an issue. Why has it not been done? You've got a free run because it's been clearly put out into the press that Anderson prefers City. So what's holding this all up? And you're right, the transfer window isn't open. But I just feel like this could rumble on a little bit.
And speaking of rumbling on a little
see.
bit, make sure after this you guys go and check out what's going on between Atletico and Real Madrid right now, because it's going off online about they're all.
Oh, is it going off again?
Yeah, they're tweeting about each other again. Madrid have just announced they bid for Alvarez. Atletico have they've quoted it with a laughing emojis for their official account. So that's got on to rumble on. And Atletico have now just dropped a statement as well. So never quiet in La Liga, is it?
No. I love what their admin is doing over there. It's very, very amusing. Yeah. It is.
Well, they bid 150 million for Alvarez, but it's been rejected immediately.
Wow. How much are they valuing him at?
Yeah.
Or is it that they just don't want to sell to a La Liga rival?
Yeah. Especially their big rivals. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Thank you for breaking that. That was that was an interesting one. So that is us. So Dermot, wherever you are, I hope that you are feeling rested, my friend. That Mrs. Tron is home tomorrow, and that everything is going well. To the nearly 1,500 people watching this stream right now, thank you for spending your time with us. Really, really honoured to have you with me and Billy as we kicked around all of the things in football. And if you enjoyed it, why not catch us on the next one? We've got the North London Derby, the North London Talks Football back on Thursday at 6 p.m. And I'll be hosting that one with a few guests. And that's when we'll be kicking around all sorts of different things. So please, if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't already, why not subscribe and support this great channel? And hopefully you'll catch us on the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And we'll see you again.
See you guys.
Take care. Bye.